Hi, welcome to The Upside. I'm your host, Paul Santinello, where we talk about the good things going on around our community. Today, I'm excited with the show because we're going to be talking about the Toy for Joy Fund and Toy Drive that's going on right now. My guests today are Cynthia Siminson from the Republican Mass Live and Danielle LaTaille from the Salvation Army here in Springfield, who these are the two folks that will give us all the ins about the program. And so first of all, thank you for coming on the show today. I appreciate it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Toy for Joy Fund and Drive that's going on and what it's all about?
Well, this is our 96th year. It's now a collaboration between the Republican, Mass Live, El Pueblo Latino, and the Salvation Army, which really is the power behind the throne here. They do all the hard work. We collect, our goal this year is to raise $150,000. We provide toys and books to thousands of kids from Franklin County all the way down to Springfield. And Danielle can share with you some of those details about exactly who we help.
Okay. So we help all of Greater Springfield, and I work for the Salvation Army in Springfield, right on Pearl Street, and we do a registration and a distribution. This year we registered approximately 1,600 families for the toy drive, and we'll be distributing the toys to thousands of children next week.
So when people, you say register, what's the process of someone, first of all, they go to the Salvation Army to register, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the process of that? How does it, is it a needs-based thing or?
So we open our doors to anyone who is in need of some help for the Christmas season. We do have a few requirements that we ask that families bring in. Picture ID for parent or guardian, proof of address to make sure they're within our catchment area, birth certificates for all children because it is an age-restricted program, so they have to be 16 and under. And then one of the key pieces is proof of financial need. So they have to bring something like a Mass Health card, EBT card, WIC card, letter from the Department of Transitional Assistance. Yep. So that just shows us that there is a need within the household that makes them eligible for the program.
Yeah, Paul, this is really a key aspect of the program, I think, and it's done at the Salvation Army units in Greenfield and Holyoke as well, is that they must document their needs. So people know that the recipients of our toys and books are truly people in need, and I know I, as a donor, feel more comfortable knowing where my dollars are going.
And that's why I asked it, because there's, I had a few people on, we talked about the 9/11 monument, and there's always a word that people say, never forget. But then over time you forget, right? I mean, you could say it's a nice bumper sticker, right, about never forget. And when you talk about this time of the year, and there's a lot of times you hear, less fortunate, and you don't, it becomes generic in a way, kind of toned down. It's not, it doesn't really have the impact, I guess.
Right.
So knowing that it's needs-based, it truly is needs-based, and there is proof, and there's, I don't want to say others aren't valid, but there's validity to it, right?
And there's many competing interests these days on how we help children and so forth. But this truly is a program where you can know where your dollar is going to.
Yeah. So the Republican has been doing this for quite some time. Right.
Back since in the 1920s.
So as a paper boy, I used to deliver. I used to read the paper as I delivered as a kid, right? So that's how I learned about things. But every day in the front page, it has it on there. Last year was a year in which fell short.
It did.
Right?
It did. It was a significant shortfall last year. It was about $40,000, and what we have to explain to people is each year we pay for the toys up front and the books. So when we fell short, we had some reserve fund from years when it was quite healthy and people were just overflowing with their support. So we always put money aside when we exceeded the goal. So we had it for a rainy day. Unfortunately, now that rainy day fund is exhausted. So we're up against it, but we have many good supporters. So,
so let me ask you, Danielle, when you're, who buys the toys?
So really the donors are helping us to purchase the toys. We purchase them through the New England Doll Company here in Massachusetts, and what we do is during registration we keep track of all of the ages and the genders of all of the children, so we know exactly what we're going to need to fit each age and gender group, and those are the toys that we purchase to make sure that every child that's registered is getting an age-appropriate toy.
And the same with the books. I
Yes.
mean, thanks to a generous donation from the Reading Success by Fourth Grade program of the Davis Foundation, and through an organization called First Book, we're able to purchase the books at a greatly reduced cost too. But as you know, the Davis Foundation has been immensely supportive to the literacy component of this campaign.
Okay. So it's not you clicking on Amazon and going to buy like thousands of gifts like in a day and...
No, we go to the warehouse, the New England Doll. They set up a whole toy display for us with hundreds of toys, and we get to kind of pick the hot toy for the season. We make sure that the toys are relevant and they're current to the trends for the kids, and same with the books. The books are very interactive and fun and engaging, and it really encourages the children to read for fun, not just because they have to. So there's that piece too that we're excited about.
1,600 plus families. How many
That's
kids?
just in Springfield.
Right,
just in Springfield.
that's just at our core here in
So
Springfield.
there's probably
So-
another 1,000 families in Holyoke and maybe 400 in Greenfield. So
So you're talking about over 3,000 plus families, almost
Yep.
3,500 or so, right? Wow.
It's 10 to 15,000 kids generally,
I was just gonna ask you.
sometimes
Yep.
more.
Wow.
Yeah, it all depends on household size
Right.
and if children are aging out of the program. But yeah, it's usually anywhere from 10 to 15,000. And our
Holy
goal this
smokes.
year is to provide them with at least 2 toys and the book. So you're looking at, at least I'd say, 40,000 toys. So
Yeah.
So how do you distribute this stuff? When you, what's that for?
Volunteers. We
have
volunteers,
a ma- yes.
But I mean to distribute,
No, volunteers, they're key.
A
She
ton,
can tell
yeah.
you.
So we have a basketball court in our building, and that's what we use to set up the toy warehouse, so to speak. So we organize it from 0 all the way to 16, and the volunteers help us to bring the toys in, and then they help us to open them and to set up the toy packages for each child. And then we have volunteers that go around and actually physically bag the toys for the children. I mean, we get clients in and out in 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
We do at least 500 families every day
Wow.
between 9:30 and 3:30. It's a very efficient process that we could not do without our volunteers.
that's
so
awesome.
yes, we're very fortunate for them.
Wow. So when you think about, the impact, not having come from money or anything like that, my mom was an immigrant, and I always tell a story about, and I share with my clients and my kids especially that, she grew up in Italy, and it was if there was a piece of candy for Christmas or an orange, that was a big deal, and there's a very different time and everything, and it's not, playing fiddles, but, not... we were never poor, but we were broke at times, kind of thing. And so you're helping people who obviously, if they have that needs-based situation, Christmas can be a hurdle, not a
Pretty
celebration, and and I understand that and appreciate that. So what's the impact that you see with? Are parents coming with their kids, or are they wrapping these up for the kids on Christmas, or is it a combination of things? Or?
Yeah, so sometimes parents do register and come to distribution with the kids. When they register with the children, we get letters to Santa. We have a volunteer that looks just like Mrs. Claus, and they'll go and talk to her and give her their requests. So the parents they're really kind of immersing the children in the whole Christmas spirit and Santa, and so the kids really think that we're Santa's elves and we're working for Santa, and we get tons of letters, and it's very heartwarming. Distribution, same thing. We keep them concealed so they can't see what mom and dad are picking up, and parents do. They wrap them, and it's not that our families don't have anything under the tree. Our families don't even have a tree to put anything under. So this program is really allowing them to give the kids a Christmas morning that a lot, but take for granted, and this program allows families to allow mom and dad and grandma to make Christmas morning happen. So,
And the origins of the program actually were in the 20s, and I was reading about it earlier, how back then it was cookies and candy, or warm mittens, or just simple gifts to make Christmas special for a child.
Yeah. And obviously, and I'm not if it wasn't for the Republican, the money probably wouldn't be there.
Well, what we do and what we stepped in to do, and they found it was a successful support of the fundraising, was we publish lists every day of every donation, whether it's $1 or $2,000. We don't discriminate. Everybody gets a listing with either their name or a simple message that they want to give in memory of somebody or in honor of someone. Everybody's listed online and in print.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what do you see as like a stumbling block to reaching the $150,000 goal? I mean, is it just...
I think it's people, there are a lot of good organizations competing for people's attention, for gifts. And people think carefully about where they give these days, and that's why thank you for the opportunity to share. We really focus on almost as much as the dollar that is given back to the children.
Yeah.
We run a very tight ship. So.
And because you're buying in the way you buy it, I mean, the $150,000 is probably worth a lot more than that because of the discounts that you're getting and that type
absolutely.
of thing. So, the G.I. Joe that might cost me $20 might, and I'm making up a number, cost $10 or something. So the impact of the donation is actually amplified.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
So it's, the dollar amount might say 150, but the 150,000, but the reality is your impact is probably close to $250,000 plus of toys that you're distributing, which actually puts it in a different perspective, because that's a huge amount that's going on.
Yeah.
So you will distribute in the Springfield area, and then there's units that distribute in Franklin and Holyoke and so forth.
Yep. So we distribute in Springfield and to all of the surrounding towns, and then
So Westfield, West Springfield, Ludlow,
Longmeadow,
Palmer.
East Longmeadow, Hamden, Wilbraham,
It's a pretty wide area.
Okay.
Munson, Three Rivers. Yeah, so we kind of open our doors, and then Holyoke will take care of Holyoke, Chicopee, South Hadley, and Granby, and then Greenfield will take care of Franklin County.
and Hampshire counties, yes.
So do you find that you have toys that you're distributing from every town in your area? Or is it...
Do you mean donors or
not donors, but
recipients?
recipients, yeah. Is it really widespread?
We get individuals from all towns.
Okay.
There is because we are located right in Springfield, so there is a large percentage of our Springfield residents are coming because we're right in the heart. It's very easy for folks who don't have transportation to get to us, but we do service families from all over, all of the towns.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some of the things that you want people to know about the program itself, or anything else that you want them to know about?
Well, no gift is too small, no gift is too large. Thank you to all our major donors,
Yes.
but the donors are such a wide variety of people, veterans groups, school groups, the faculty at one school, I think it was Agawam or West Springfield High School, gave the proceeds from the Dress Down Fridays.
Okay.
It's just simple acts. We have a law firm in Springfield that organizes events all year round to raise funds and then gives in memory of a colleague who died of cancer. People give in memory of loved ones in honor of their grandchildren. Dominic Sarno gives every year, always the first gift, always saying, just so a child can smile on Christmas morning.
Okay. And that's really what it's about. I mean, just having the effect of waking up and there's something there.
Yeah. Yep.
And like you said, I mean, I can't believe that you're actually, because I'm on the outside looking in, but the job that you do in terms of finding the toys that are relevant and age appropriate and stuff. I mean, because I think of Misfit Island from, so you're not giving them a Joe in a box or something like that. But I mean, that's pretty important too.
Yeah, we make sure that it's something that they're going to love and they're going to cherish and something that they can use long term. And
then the books. The books last. It's beyond Christmas morning.
Which is a totally different component.
A toy may break, but a book is going to last a lifetime and make a lifetime of difference.
And what's the feedback that you get on that? Because that's got to be totally different. I mean, a book can be very life-changing depending on, and I don't want to be, these are kids, I mean, I'm not trying to make it, but because I can tell a story about one book that changed my life, right? So, but these are important, that's an important part of it because it's not, you're trying to do something more than just one day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
And the whole family literacy concept, the family that reads together, all of their skills grow. So,
Right.
there's just long-term benefits from this effort are just phenomenal in my book.
So how many volunteers do you have in the Springfield that come out for this thing?
Oh, wow. So registration, we had about 25 volunteers each day, and then distribution, we usually average about 50 volunteers each day.
For how many days? When do you distribute? How does the program work?
Distribution is next week. It's the 17th, 18th, and 19th from 9:30 to 3:30, and we have 50 volunteers each day. And that number usually grows, too,
Okay.
because people will have such a great experience on Monday that they'll bring a friend or a relative on Tuesday and Wednesday. And
cool.
the registration is very fun, but it is time-consuming, and there's a lot of computer work that's involved in the registration process, but the distribution is fun because you get to work with toys all day, and you're handing them to parents, and their faces are lighting up, and so a lot of people want to do distribution. It's a really fun week.
So you just said something. The program, I read online that it goes until the 23rd of December. I mean, you'll take donations after.
Oh,
but,
absolutely.
But it goes to the 23rd, but you're distributing ahead of that.
Right. And in person, you can drop off through the Friday before because we're only working a half day on Monday, but by mail, everything comes in.
Yeah. So whose credit card did you use to buy the toys? I mean, that's the question. I mean, is it, no, it's not, because you said
somebody
you're buying
has to front the money.
Yeah,
You're correct.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. But in past years, the toy companies have been quite helpful.
Yes.
Paying the bill after the
It's
fact.
just a lot of airline miles,
is.
just think about it. So, but that's important. I mean, you don't think about, because you guys don't talk about that, and I mean, not that you should be talking about that as you're putting the kickoff of the campaign, but that's really important that you're distributing before you even have the money in.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, the bulk of it, because the bulk of the donations kind of come at the end. I mean, historically.
Right.
So you guys have no idea. You sit on pins and needles for a little bit to make sure
bet.
that.
Every day.
Wow.
And a member of our accouning staff keeps keeps the input of the totals and so forth. So it's like every morning I'm in her office saying, "How do we do?"
Oh, wow. So, all right, you talk about a little bit nerve-wracking, fun and nerve-wracking at the same time. So you're on the roller coaster. Okay, and a really good ride,
People
though.
can donate online, they do it by mail, they do it in person. We've had school children show up with a penny collection, it's a fun time, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, in the human element of it is that, there's always, people come through. Right, and I mean on both ends of both sides of it, right, from the donors to the recipients and things like that. I mean, and the good work that's being done is, I mean, you'll never know the true impact of what you do until 10 years down the road, when you change someone's life and it really made a big difference.
Some of Danielle's volunteers are past recipients.
Oh, really?
So.
Oh, neat story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them are children whose parents received toys for them when they were children. Now they're adults, and they're looking to give back. They're in a better place financially. They're donating financially, but they're also donating their time. So yeah, it's amazing to see the turnaround. I have been doing this it's been 11 years, so I have been able to see a little bit of that.
Wow.
To kind of see the work that we've been doing, and
or mothers whose children are now grown and who are there at the registration desk to welcome new families.
Wow, that's neat.
Yeah.
That really is neat.
It is.
So, your smile, that's a great program. So what does a new I'm sorry, it's the 96th year. Was the newspaper involved from the very beginning?
It was.
It was.
From when Toy for Joy was created. Previous to that, it was a civic fund, and then the city got out of that business, and the Rotary Club actually picked it up for a time, and then the Springfield Union joined forces with the Rotary Club to take it on, and Salvation Army joined us about 50 years ago in 1968. Taking it over from the United Way at that time. So we've had civic partners ever since the beginning.
Okay, so we have a long history of this service, and I mean, Folks, all I would say to you is that, I don't push for anything because it's your money. It's, I'm just bringing this to your attention. I know you know about the Toy for Joy Fund because you see it in the newspaper every day. But knowing what the impact is, and, so your dollar really isn't a dollar, right? It could be a couple dollars, the impact of that. And in very few places can you do that where, the money is 100% going to.
It's staying local, and it's helping people that are truly in need.
Yeah. And there's no skimming off the top or anything like that. So 150 is 150, which is actually probably closer to $300,000 worth of toys and things like that.
Very good at making that dollar stretch.
Yeah,
very far.
That's phenomenal in itself. And that's actually one of the things when you take a look at charities is that, what's the effective use of the money that you're giving to them? And, most of them will have a cut because there's operational expenses, but this is actually just the opposite. I mean, there's an amplified effect of your dollar contribution in this, besides all the other good stuff that it does.
And when you add in the literacy component, you're changing families' lives forever.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful thing.
It's a really cool thing. Okay. Anything else you want people to know about the program? Where can they go to volunteer if people still will see this and they want to help out?
They can call me at 413-733-1518. Just ask for Danielle and say you're interested in volunteering, and I'll be happy to meet with you and set up a time.
Okay, so distribution, today's December 12th, and this will be on air, and then we can share it and stuff, but distribution starts the week before Christmas?
Yep, so it's next week, the 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Okay.
9:30 to 3:30.
And I'm sure even after that, if you need help, that people can still volunteer.
Yeah.
Donations will be accepted at any point in time?
Anytime.
Up to Christmas, past
Online
Christmas,
at
whatever?
masslive.com. Drop them off at the Republican at 1860 Main Street, or put them in the mailbox to us.
Okay. So if you have any questions, you can call, I'm sure they can call the Republican.
Sure.
You can call the Salvation Army. You can call me. You can find me in a book. But if it's something that moves you, and from my perspective, when you're looking at these types of things affecting our community and the impact that it can have, not just monetarily, but in human effect. This is one of those really good things, and I'm glad you guys joined me today because I've learned as well about what you do. So, and I can tell you, I'm a finance guy. So, but to take $150,000 and take that and have an effect that goes like this is huge, dollar-wise. I mean, that's unheard of in a lot of different endeavors. So I commend you on that. I mean, that's the story that people really need to know, is that your dollar is probably worth 2 or 3 in terms of helping people, and then some, right? Because then, like you said, you're seeing people come back in and give their time and talent, which you can't put a dollar on, a dollar figure on. So it's beyond that. But just measuring it is that's a phenomenal job. I commend you guys on that, to just be able to do that.
Thank you for your generosity, and thank you to all our many, many kind and generous donors.
Yeah. So if you guys are looking for something to get involved in, monetarily, physically, time-wise, please give a call to Cynthia or Danielle and join in. And I urge you that if you're looking for something to feel good about, this is one of those things. And
indeed, be happy to have you.
Yeah, and thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're watching The Upside. We'll see you on the next show, but thank you for watching, and have a great day. And a great holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you. We didn't quite go 30 minutes.